around the end of the year. Now, they're not sure if it would be from this well or the other well. The investigators are venting and monitoring the gas to reduce any chance of any further issues. Now, so far, visits by residents and business owners are being stopped until investigators can determine whether it's safe to enter the area. Now, it's not clear if this well is one that has appeared on mapping of wells already or if it's a totally new well. The municipality says they are hopeful to discover if this well will aid in the development of options to support the mitigation phase of the operation. Chris?
Thanks, Dale. Dale Molnar live tonight with another look at what's happening out in Wheatley. The bright glow that often illuminates the night sky across Essex County is an issue that appears to be heading to court. Leamington taking legal action against several greenhouse operators for violating the light pollution bylaws. But as the CBC's Jason Vio tells us, those growers, they see it differently.
These blasts of purple light that make a glaring glow in the night sky are considered a nuisance by neighbors. Leamington created a bylaw 1 year ago with the goal of shielding this light from the outdoors. Greenhouse lights are required to be completely off or covered by curtains from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m. But some growers aren't complying.
In Leamington and Kingsville, there's a significant concentration. And so it's much more noticeable here.
The Ontario Greenhouse Vegetable Growers is pushing for a solution to avoid what it calls legal wrangling for everyone involved. Greenhouse growers argue the lights are a part of a farm's normal practice, and closing curtains to prevent light from escaping isn't always possible.
Your babies are at the top. The ones that are the most susceptible are at the very top of your plant. And so when the heat and humidity builds up, you have this issue.
He says they can reduce light by 90% most of the time using curtains or new LED technology that means less outside reflection.
Honestly, if we can get to between 90% or more most of the time, I think residents will be able to balance that with, you know, the fact that the greenhouses bring a lot of beneficial economics into this area.
In a statement to CBC, the municipality of Leamington says they've directed significant resources toward the issue, and bylaw enforcement officers will continue to investigate violations of the greenhouse light abatement bylaw. But this case won't make it to the Superior Court of Justice anytime soon. That's because the farmers have applied for an exemption. The Normal Farm Practices Protection Board, a provincial body, will hold a hearing this summer, and any possible legal action will need to wait until that's resolved. Jason Vio, CBC News, Windsor.
COVID cases in Windsor, Essex continue to climb. The health unit reporting 105 more cases today. Another man has died. He was in his 70s. There are now 547 people with an active case of COVID-19 in the region, 35 outbreaks across multiple settings. West Windsor, they're going to have a mass vaccination clinic at Hotel de Grace Healthcare. That's going to be at the Dr. Y. Amara Center for Healthy Aging and Mobility. That's starting on January 5th. Booster numbers, they're going up. Another concern for the health unit, though, some businesses still not complying with safety measures.
Over the course of the 12-hour enforcement campaign, 9 tickets were issued and 21 businesses were coached towards compliance. Primary infractions noted were related to long-standing measures that have been in place, such as active screening at the entrance of the businesses, a lack of documented safety plans, and the improper use of eye protection. And I know this is something that we have shared many times. To say that it's concerning would be a bit of an understatement. These measures, such as screening and proper use of PPE, have been in place, for well over a year.
Now, with the holidays in full swing, authorities, advocacy groups, they have a message: if you drink, don't drive. Last year, the roadways, they were almost deserted over the holidays as the pandemic was in its third wave. Restrictions on gatherings, they were in place. This time around, the rules are a little less strict, but the Omicron variant has prompted warnings from public health to keep those get-togethers small. Windsor police say regardless of the time of year, officers will be vigilant in keeping the streets safe from impaired drivers.
Impaired driving is a very serious offense and with serious consequences, right? So either you're impaired by drugs or by alcohol or a combination of both, impaired is impaired. And you're facing serious consequences from, the immediate driver's license suspension to your vehicle being impounded, serious fines and penalties, criminal record and jail time, depending on the severity of the offense.
Call an Uber or a cab, arrange a designated driver, public transportation, or stay the night. There's many areas. There's many ways to keep safe, and to call 911 to report suspected impaired drivers. If we see somebody on the road that's weaving in and out of traffic or going too slow or going too fast, that could be a sign of somebody who may be impaired.
Now, the OPP says impaired driving arrests were up 16% during the pandemic. That's compared with the 21 months before. But if you're comparing the pandemic in 2020 to 2021, there's been a decrease. The number of arrests fell from 120 to 93. Windsor Police could not provide pandemic-specific statistics, but their annual stats also show a rise in offenses. There was a slight increase in impaired charges laid from 2019 to 2020, about 5%. In 2021, there's been 260 people charged as of the latest stats that are available. That puts us ahead of where we were in 2020 by almost 12%. Another thing for drivers to keep an eye out for, red camera lights now in Windsor. The mayor says some are operational at this moment. All 10 red light cameras will be running starting in January. Fines for driving through a red light cost you $325. The city has also installed high traffic sensors to detect pedestrians, cyclists, and others, which will trigger the traffic light to change without having to touch anything. So far, the only one in operation is at Lozon Road and Spitfires Way. While many events are being postponed or canceled, there's at least one tournament still going ahead, the 2021 Petrolia Regional Silver Stick Tournament in Petrolia. That's just east of Sarnia. That starts on Monday, and its director says they know things could change and they're prepared.
If it comes down to the point where they say it's not safe for you to run the tournament, and then we will cancel accordingly and do that. But right now we've communicated with all of our teams. We have 18 teams that are attending at this point, and all of them are looking forward to it. But we realize things can change.
It's been about 2.5 months since a Thanksgiving weekend fire destroyed the showroom and offices of Kimball Lumber in Kingsville. But as Dale Molnar reports, the people who work there pulled together to keep the business going in temporary digs. They're on their way to rebuilding.
I entered the store at first, but the back wall was just full of flames, so I just backed right out.
The company's vice president, Kevin Kimball, just 2 days after a fire destroyed the showroom and offices of his family's business. Today, the rubble has been cleared, and the owners and staff are working out of trailers set up for offices and the showroom.
On this section, we have some small hand tools, pass-load guns, DeWalt hand tools.
The makeshift store is not even a third the size of the building that burned down. There's not much shelf space, but the good news is about 80% of the business is selling lumber and supplies to contractors, which wasn't lost. They are now looking forward to building a bigger and better store.
So we'll be able to display more items. We have a lot more height on the inside, so we can have more product in the store. So it should be much better.
All the employees have kept their jobs, and they say the community has been very supportive.
They're shocked, actually. They're surprised at how fast we've bounced back. We've got a great team here. It's a big family, so we're working together to pull it together.
The first couple of days we were working out of the back of our pickup trucks. I believe the first office trailer was set up, I think, 3 days later, and then the showroom trailer about 2 weeks later.
The damage was estimated at around $1.5 million, but there was some memorabilia lost that can't be replaced.
News articles from when the business first started. We won a couple Golden Hammer Awards that were lost. Small things here and there, but to some of the staff who've been here for 20, 30 years, they're pretty important. So.
Investigators were unable to determine a cause for the fire. The owners hope to start construction on the new showroom sometime in the new year and expect to have it open to the public at this time next year. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Kingsville.
Today marks the pop culture phenomena Festivus. It comes from the 90s sitcom Seinfeld. Festivus for the Rest of Us was a holiday created by one of the characters on the show. It was a day for people who had enough of Christmas and the consumerism that goes along with it. One of the Festivus traditions is, of course, the airing of grievances. CBC's Mike Evans took to the streets of downtown Windsor earlier today to find out what people thought about 2021.
There was nobody driving on the roads, but nobody fixed the potholes. So there's still too many potholes.
There's just not enough time in the day to do anything. I figured, if we got an extra 3-4 hours, we could, shop, we could drink, we could eat more.
So today is the celebration of Festivus, where we get to air our grievances. What are your grievances for this year?
I think I'm pretty okay this year. My grievances are I can't see my kids too because they're far, far away because I came here for work and then was laid off.
I couldn't go inside the store to buy shoes.
So that probably led to a whole bunch of complications. So how did you get shoes?
I had to order them online. I have a very large foot size, so it's very difficult to find shoes that fit. So I have to go into the store to try them on before I buy, and because COVID, not a lot of places are taking stuff back.
The rules around COVID-19 not making sense around what they're trying to accomplish or the safeguards that they're actually trying to administer.
We're basically in the same spot with COVID that we were last year. Yeah, that's the big one, I think.
So you think 2022 will be different?
Yeah, you know what? You got to hold out hope. You lose the hope, you got nothing left. So yeah, 2022 will be different. It'll be better. Get your third vaccine. We'll be good to go.
I talked to one lady who said her biggest grievance was that she couldn't find shoes that fit. Is there anything like that? Because she had to buy them online. She couldn't go into stores. Is there anything like that you experienced in 2021?
Yeah, actually, I can't find any clothes that fit in my closet. So that's the problem.
But I don't grieve anything. I just want to hug my mom and my kids.
Yeah, Festivus for the rest of us.
A lot of variety there. A lot of emotion, but a lot of talk about shoes there, man. If you saw the shoes that I had on tonight, I don't think that we'd have to worry about any grievances from me, but everybody else probably would. They're pretty flashy and shiny and a little ugly. We'll see if Nick can pull something together here as far as a forecast to make things a little bit nicer for us when he joins us after the break.
Hello, I'm Katerina Georgieva with CBC Windsor. 'Tis the season for giving, and that's where the Sounds of the Season comes in. It's CBC's annual charity drive for local food banks. For more information on how to give, visit cbc.ca/Windsor.
If everything goes as planned, Christmas Day could deliver a gift that astronomers have been eagerly waiting for a long time. But the James Webb Space Telescope may be a little too big to fit under any tree on Earth. Instead, it's going to be launched on Saturday to head to a spot nearly 1.6 million kilometers from us, where it will offer humans an unprecedented view of the cosmos. Jayla Bernstein shows us Canada's involvement in the NASA project.
Decades in the making, with a $10 billion price tag, a lot rides on the James Webb Space Telescope's success.
It's going to be a new era in astrophysics.
The successor to the Hubble Space Telescope, the Webb is 100 times more powerful.
We're going to see things that nobody expected, and I think that's one of the most exciting things about the mission.
Two key components were Canadian-made: an instrument to study distant galaxies and a guidance sensor tested right here in this lab.
It's been a great journey, working with a great team. Again, I'm the maestro, but it's so many people involved in this project.
The telescope is like a time machine, able to see ancient light from billions of years ago. It won't see all the way back to the Big Bang, but NASA says it will observe the first galaxies that formed. While Hubble mainly observed light visible to the human eye, Webb will detect infrared light, allowing it to see farther and in more detail.
We're building the most complex machine ever built by humanity, and we're sending it 1.5 million kilometers from Earth.
It'll take a month to travel to its destination. Then the telescope's components will need to unfold and start calibrating. Data will finally start flowing 6 months later. Astronomer Olivia Lim will be studying a solar system 39 light years away.
We don't know if those planets have an atmosphere or not. They may be balls of rock with no atmosphere at all. We don't know that, so we're trying to figure it out.
René Doyon encouraged her to submit a proposal to use the telescope. She did, and was surprised to find out she'll get the most time with it of any Canadian.
I saw the title of the email and I was like, oh my God, I'm not physically or mentally prepared for that. Started reading and then realized that our proposal was accepted.
Her excitement, just one small example of what the scientific community is feeling ahead of the launch of the revolutionary James Webb Space Telescope. Jayla Bernstein, CBC News, Montreal.
It's a pretty neat telescope they're throwing up there, Nick, but I don't think it's going to see anything as far as snow for our forecast. Is that how we...
Is that how we segue into it?
I tried, man. Most of that actually went over my head.
I know. I was saying... Okay.
These are bad, Nick. These are bad.
Should I just take it away now?
Take it, please.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, before we embarrass myself further. I'll walk
Sounds
off.
good. All right.
Thank you.
All right, I'll take it away. Temperatures around the 0 mark. We're actually looking at some rain showers in the Windsor area right now. We've got 2 degrees down in Windsor. It gets a little colder as you head further to the east. There's a look at wind chills. The wind chill Windsor kind of questionable here because it's 2 degrees. Usually you don't start calculating that till you're at 0, but otherwise that's kind of what we're looking at there. Wind chills for anybody who's at or below 0. Somewhere around -3, -4, -5. There's the system that's kind of pushed through. Hadn't really seen any of the snow down in Windsor. In fact, what we're looking at here is just a few spotty showers. We are looking at snow, though, closer to London, Chatham, out toward Sarnia, all seeing some snowfall there. But down in extreme southwestern Ontario, it's really just been some spotty showers. Now, again, temperatures right around the 0 mark. I don't think we're going to actually get down to 0, or if we do, it'll just be sort of at it. The risk for some slick roads, but for the most part, it should stay as wet weather tonight. Clears out by tomorrow morning. And again, this is not a lot of rainfall at all. Tomorrow, we've got cloud cover in the forecast. There are spotty showers, though, into Christmas Eve, and that lasts right through Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. Morning, generally dry with the risk of a few spotty showers, and then into the evening hours, it starts to clear out. How much snow are you looking at? Well, basically none down in Windsor, but a little bit more as you head further east toward the London area. Not a big event at all. Temperatures around 0 degrees here. So Windsor's going to be right on that sort of line. So watch again for some icy roads if the temperatures dip down right to the freezing mark. But as we head through tomorrow, we're looking at highs of 7, 8 degrees. And again, very light spotty showers. These icons make it look kind of bad, but it really isn't. These are showers and light in nature. So 7 on Friday. Saturday, 8 degrees. And as we head toward next week, isn't looking much colder.
At least we're not looking at a humidex for Saturday there. At least
you know what, I was thinking that.
It's rough.
You know, we're talking about wind chills here, not humidex, and yeah.
That pressure, though, for the White Christmas, Mike Evans is in here, and he was woohooing when you were talking about there being no snow. So you do have people who are cheering along this green Christmas.
Yeah, I bet. They are in the minority, though, I think.
It could be. Could be. Thanks for this, Nick.
All right.
Now, coming up, we take a look back at some of the memorable stories from across Canada.
Hi, this is Sarah Van Grinsven here at the River Lights Winter Festival in Amherstburg. 'Tis the season for giving, and that's where the CBC's Sounds of the Season annual food drive comes in. Please visit cbc.ca/Windsor to donate today.
As the end of the year comes to a close, CBC News is looking back at some of the memorable stories from 2021. Tonight, Jacob Barker recalls his time in Wheatley in August as the town dealt with the explosion in its core.
I'm Jacob Barker. My most memorable story this year has to be an explosion that happened in Wheatley. This was a months-long story even before the explosion happened. When there was gas detected in the downtown area of Wheatley. It was something that people were concerned about. It's something that officials were concerned about. People had been evacuated and brought back to their houses a couple of times before the explosion happened. So once that did happen, luckily nobody was hurt, but it did raise a lot of questions about just why people were let back into that area and safety. And they are still investigating the cause of that explosion, though it is suspected to be because of a gas leak. And that in and of itself has also raised a lot of questions about abandoned gas wells in this area of Ontario and the abundance of them. They are everywhere. And the way that government is dealing with them, a lot of people are asking questions about that as well. I know that the municipality there, as well as some people who have them in their backyards, have asked questions about how they are supposed to deal with it. Some people are finding themselves having to spend lots of money dealing with the problem on their own. And it's something that we're going to continue to ask questions about. I think it's an important story for the area, and it's an important story that we'll continue to look into in 2022.
And that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. We're on social media as well. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The last 12 months, they've touched all of us, dealing with COVID-19, devastating weather events, a year of records of celebration, of loss, and remembrance. Everyone will have their own choices, but here's a few of the photos that captured Canada's year in pictures.